All right, we have a battle of the Magnums. Today what I have is 357 Magnum versus 44 Magnum Federal Hydroshock. The 357 Magnum is a 158 grain personal defense Hydroshock, and the 44 Magnum is a 240 grain personal defense Hydroshock. Kind of interesting ammunition. I have tested this 357 in the past, and it's done excellent. I've averaged anywhere between 1260 and 1280 feet per second, even though it's rated at 1240 feet per second. Now this ammunition here, I believe it's rated at 1210, 240 grain. Interesting thing here though is they're both rated out of a 4-inch barrel, and these are basically 4-inch barrels, 4 1/4, 4 1/8. So we should get pretty similar to factory rated velocity. So some true Magnums here, and they're pretty much loaded just how you want Magnums to be loaded for personal defense. They're not super hot rounds. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. And then as always, we're going to go through the Juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna covered by 4 layers of denim, followed by 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard. That kind of simulates like a pectoral muscle covered by or followed by ribs or sternum. Into water jugs to catch these bullets. How this normally compares to ballistics gel is after going through this pack, which represents about 6 inches of gel. Each water jug's about 3 inches. So the back of jug 2 is about 12 inches, back of 3, 15 inches, back of 4, 18 inches, and so forth. So let's get started with the test between some true Magnums, 44 and 357 Magnum, see how they do. All right, first up is the 357 Magnum. I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph, rated at 1240 feet per second. So we'll see how we do for velocity and accuracy at 357. No read. It's a little dark out here. I'm gonna have to hook up the lights on that chronograph system because it's just not enough light out here. All right, we'll keep going, see if this lighting helps. 1262, 1271, 1243, 1242. Let's run a few more rounds. All right, I'll keep going with this. 1256, 1253. So very consistent round for accuracy and velocity. It always has been for me. I really like this round. Now let's try the 44 Magnum. All right, 44 Magnum. It's rated at 1210 feet per second. I adjusted the sights on this just before this video to make sure that the sights are on there pretty far off. So I'm going to go single action with this just to be sure. So let's see how close we get to 1210. 1144, 1213, 1210, 1134, 1126. So a couple of those numbers are pretty low. A couple of them, or one of them, got rated velocity. So kind of interesting there. It's still a very powerful round, but just not as consistent as that 357. Let's hit the Juggernaut box and see how these two compare to each other. All right, 357 Mag Hydroshock. This has always done relatively well for me in the past, so we'll see if we continue with getting good performance. All right. Huge amount of damage here on this bologna pack. That's what I like to see, and of course a very accurate shot. This round has always been excellent for accuracy for me. First water jug contains the fiberboard and has a huge amount of damage. All right, our fiberboard, where I entered the fiberboard, it does appear that it is expanding in that bologna pack before it hit the fiberboard. And while I'm on that subject, sometimes I think the fiberboard does aid in expansion with some rounds, but not the really powerful rounds. I think it does with the really low end ones, but powerful rounds, 357, stuff like that. That bologna pack in and of itself caused that thing to start to expand. Our first jug is just huge amount of damage. This is what we see most of the time. It's going straight through. It's not deviating to the right or to the left. Jug 2, again, this is massive. Jug 2, this is greater than a 9mm plus P on most of the rounds I test on Jug 1, but on Jug 2, very powerful round. Jug 3, it looks like we went through 3 because I see an impact on 4 and it's leaking. There's a little mark off the back of 4. That's going to indicate about 18 inches comparison to ballistics gel, which is on the high end of what you want to be at, but not too high, so very good. And for being such an old school round, that is perfect. It's just a very impressive looking expansion. Very uniform expansion, very good. So when they designed the Hydra-Shock back in 1989, they knew what they were doing a little bit even back then. Pretty good performance. Let's see how that 44 Magnum compares. All right, 44 Magnum. I should probably stand back a little ways, but to me, getting a perfect shot is more important than whether I'm wet or not. So, got my sights adjusted. My last test with this gun, and they hit a little low, but I think we're right on right now. So let's see what we get with 44 Magnum. That baloney pack hit me with a lot of force. And it looks about the same as the 357 Magnum. So that doesn't necessarily say a whole lot. It just means it's probably dumping its energy a little bit further in. All right, the first jug definitely has more damage than the 357 Magnum. Where we hit this fiberboard. This is interesting because I've only seen this phenomenon with 10mm, where it kind of pulls the laminates of this fiberboard out horizontally. Definitely much larger than bullet diameter as it impacted this fiberboard. Now, the first jug. Yeah, this whole thing is ripped apart like this. That's a lot of damage. Jug 2 looks about like jug 1 with the 357 mag. That's a lot of damage. Jug 3 looks about like jug 1 with 9mm. So that's pretty impressive. Impact on jug 4, and bullets in 4 exactly the same as the 357 Magnum. A little dent out the back, indicating about 18 inches comparison to ballistics gel. And again, we got pretty similar to the 357, except it does look like it's going to have shed off some of that lead on the side there. That's to be expected with such power. But we have really good expansion, and unlike what a lot of people are saying about 44 Magnum about over penetrating, it did not over penetrate at all. It did the same as the 357 Magnum, and this is a pretty middle of the road load for 44 Magnum. I have one more test to do with these rounds. I just want to see kind of like the practical accuracy from 7 yards. If you had to use these guns in self-defense, how hard would it really be to hit a target, and would a follow-up shot be more or less impossible? So let's test that. All right, target is about 7 to 8 yards from here. I'm not going to fire particularly quickly or particularly slowly. I'm just going to pull this up, fire as fast as I think I can hit center mass on that target. 357 Magnum first. And I got 4 of them in the center there. I pulled a couple of them. I'm not really an expert with shooting like that, but you can see it's usable. I'm going to try the 44, see how quick I can fire 6 or 5 rounds of 44, since it holds 5, not 6. All right, same thing, 44 Magnum, see what I can do here. And I pulled one a little bit to the right, but I would say about the same and a little bit difference in time there, but not by a whole lot. I want to do this one more time. You know, like I said, I'm not an expert. This is just me warming up with these shots. So if I fire them a little bit differently, a little bit slower maybe, can I get them a little more precise? I'm going to try that. All right, this time I got 5 rounds in the 357. I'm going to fire 4 rounds at the body and then 1 at the head, just to see if I can hit it and see how quick I can do it. Should feel real light after doing that 44, so here we go. And I lost the last round. Didn't really have a very good sight picture, to be honest. I'm going to try that 44. All right, 44. I'll try to slow it down just a little bit, but try to do as quick as I think I can hit him. So I would say with the 44, it kind of forces me to aim a little bit better. One more test. I have a few rounds left. Why not launch them at 50 yards? Just to see how these hit. All right, I'm at 50 yards from my metal tank, and so we're going to balance this out. I only have 4 rounds of the 44 left, so I'll do 4 rounds of 357. One thing I noticed about the 686 versus that Model 69 is the weighted barrel does make a difference to me. It's like if I'm already holding the gun out, I can be more accurate at this just to keep landing them in the same area. But when it comes to pulling it out quickly, it's almost like it takes a lot longer to balance this to where it needs to be. As where the Model 69 is the opposite. It's kind of like it's better quick out, but really aiming a little bit harder. So 50 yards, metal tank. See if I can hit this. All right, for being just a 357, it does hit with a lot of authority at that range. I'm gonna try the 44. All right, with this revolver, I'm not quite comfortable with double action as much as I want to be, and my tank just fell. I'm gonna go pick that up. All right, I think the tank heard me say 44 and hid somewhere. I'm gonna see how I can do. I'll fire once in double action. If I can't hit it, I'll switch to single action. I'm gonna go put that. It's 50 yards each way. I'll be back. All right, I'll keep going with this. You got to remember, at 50 yards, the energy of this is still more powerful than a 357 at point blank. So no wonder why it falls over. I'm winded a little bit, walking back and forth, back and forth. So we'll see if I can hit it still. Right, it liked it when I moved that sight over to the left. All right, so that's what you get today, 357 mag versus 44 mag Hydroshock. What we're seeing here is both of these rounds are relatively capable rounds, very accurate, very powerful, long range, short range, very good. And the only discrepancy there is my abilities shooting fast with 357. But overall, as we can see, every range and what it's doing ballistically, these are excellent rounds for personal defense, and really not too much for a gun like this to carry for personal defense. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.